The 5:14 to Glasgow does not really exist for most people. At 20 to 5 in the morning, Manchester Piccadilly belongs to the cleaners and the pigeons that live in the roof, and about 9 people who are all trying very hard not to be visible. One of the 9 was a boy on a metal bench with a rucksack on his knees and no coat in October. He had been there since 20 past 3 because he had left the house at 4 minutes past 4 in the morning, which is a thing you only do once and never plan properly. The plan was on his phone in a notes app, and it was immaculate. It had the layout of something built by a boy who had spent 900 hours inside a spreadsheet with a spaceship on the front.
Leg 1, Piccadilly to Preston, £12.40. Leg 2, Preston to Glasgow Central, 1990. Leg 3, Glasgow to Inverness. Coach, overnight, if it exists, £12.
Leg 4, bus, Tuesdays and Fridays, free, probably. It's a village. Total, £44.30. Available, £41.60.
Deficit of £2.70, which is fine because I'll skip food on leg 2.
He actually nodded to himself when he finished it. He was pleased with it. He had never in his life been that pleased with anything. It was a good plan. He'd checked it 4 times. He'd checked the connections and the walk between Glasgow Queen Street and Buchanan Street and the last coach and the first coach. It was the kind of plan you build in a game where the price is printed on the item. The ticket machine took his coins one at a time and then stopped and put a small red message on the screen. Maximum 20 coins per transaction. He looked at his hand. His hand contained, conservatively, 90 coins.
Right.
The ticket window had a shutter down over it and a laminated sign that said, "Opens 5:30. The departure board said, 5:14, Preston, on time. He looked at the sign. He looked at the board. He looked at the sign.
Oh, that's funny. That's genuinely funny, that.
He ran, not gracefully, rucksack going one way, coins going the other, one hand out to catch them and failing. He got onto the 5:14 with no ticket at all, and £41.60 in shrapnel, 3 coins of which are now permanently under a bench on platform 13. The plan had assumed a shop. He would make that exact mistake again, on a much larger scale, in about a year and a half. There were 4 people in the whole carriage, blue seats, that specific fabric, condensation on the windows. Everything outside was black. He sat by the window, with his hood up and the rucksack in his lap, like a small child holding a hot water bottle. Across the aisle and 1 row back was a woman in her 40s, fleece over scrubs, lanyard still on, hair flattened at the back where a chair had been. She had a supermarket meal deal open in front of her, and she was eating it at 20 past 5 in the morning, like lunch, because for her it was. She was not looking at him. She had clocked him entirely. He had not told anybody he was going. He had thought about it on the walk to the station, in the way you rehearse an argument you are never going to have. He had a whole speech. It was excellent. He'd left a note in the end, because it was easier, and because he was 17 and had watched a lot of films. 4 words, under the sugar bowl.
Gone to see Grandad.
Nobody rang. That was the thing he hadn't budgeted for. Not the fare, not the coins, not the shop. He had planned for being chased. He had a story ready for a policeman. Nobody rang. At 5 to 8, 1 message arrived.
Are you actually gone, or is this a thing?
His sister. He looked at it for a long while with his thumb over the screen, and then he didn't answer, because answering makes it a conversation, and a conversation is a thing you can be talked out of. At 12 minutes past 9, one more.
Your mother's upset. Ring her when you finished.
When I've finished.
He turned the phone off, properly off, hold the button, watch the logo go, off. 2 words, when you've finished. As though he had gone upstairs in a strop and would be down when he got hungry. It would take him a long time to work out why that was worse than anything his father had ever shouted at him. It was worse because it was a prediction. And the horrible thing about his father's predictions was that he had spent 17 years proving them right. A door hissed, high vis, a ticket machine on a strap.
Warning, tickets, passes.
His stomach visibly left his body.
The window wasn't open.
Right. Where to?
Preston.
1240.
He put the coins on the table, slowly, in stacks of 10, because he is his own worst enemy. The conductor watched this happen, not unkindly. He simply stood and watched a boy count out £12.40 in coppers at 5:30 in the morning, while a train waited.
And after Preston?
I'll sort it at Preston.
It's Sunday. Windows at Preston open at 8. Your connection's 20 past 6.
Right.
I can sell you Preston to Glasgow now. Walk up single.
1990.
34.50, mate.
It says 1990.
That's an advance. You buy those weeks out. You can't buy an advance from me. There's no such thing as an advance you buy on the day. That's the entire point of them.
He looked at his coins. £29 and 20 pence in neat little towers across a formica table. Not devastated. Something more specific than that. The flat, gutted disbelief of a person who has just been shown that his model of the world is a toy.
The price is meant to be the price.
Yeah, I know.
A contactless card came in from the side and tapped the machine. The woman in the fleece, not looking up, still eating crisps.
Preston to Glasgow. 1.
Right you are.
Beep, print. He tore the ticket off and put it on the table next to the towers of coins and moved on down the carriage, and that was it. That was the entire event. The boy had not moved.
I can't.
You can, though.
I'll pay you back. If you give me your, your bank.
I'm not giving a 17-year-old my bank details on a train. What are you like?
She looked over at him properly. Tired eyes and absolutely no sentiment in them at all.
It's £34.50. I have just done 13 hours. Do you know how little £34.50 means to me right now?
No.
Correct.
She went back to the crisps. That was meant to be the end of the conversation. It was not the end of the conversation.
Thanks.
Fields going past in the dark. The bottom edge of the window starting to go grey.
Where you off to then?
Scotland.
I got that from the ticket.
My granddad's.
Does he know you're coming?
He said I didn't have to phone first.
She looked at him again. Something went across her face, and it wasn't pity. It was a professional recalculation. She was a woman who assessed people quickly for a living.
Right.
She pushed the second half of the meal deal across the table. A sandwich, untouched, still in its wedge.
I'm all right.
You're not, though. You've got no coat on.
He took it. He ate it far too fast, and she watched the way a nurse watches, which is to say, without appearing to.
Can I give you one bit of advice, and then I'm going to sleep, and I'm not doing a whole thing?
Okay.
Eat when there's food, sleep when it's warm.
He waited for the rest of it. There was no rest of it.
That's it?
That's it. And here's the important bit. Don't do either when you feel like it. Do them when they're available. Feelings run on a completely different timetable to opportunities. Nobody tells you that. I've watched a lot of people find it out too late.
Is that a nurse thing?
It's a night thing.
She pulled her hood up, folded her arms, and was asleep inside a minute, in the way that only shift workers can manage. And he sat there awake, holding an empty sandwich wedge in a warm carriage with food in him at 7 o'clock in the morning. He would repeat that sentence out loud to a room full of people who had been dead for 8,000 years, more times than he could count, and he would never once be able to tell them who said it, because he never asked her name. At Preston, she got off. He watched her go down the platform and lost her in about 4 seconds because she looked like 900 other people. She did not look back. Why would she? Nothing had happened. 90 minutes. That was the whole friendship. It was the longest anybody had been kind to him without wanting something since he was about 9 years old, and he thought about it every single day for the rest of his life. North of Preston, the carriage emptied out, and the sun came up, low and white. He turned the phone back on. 44%. 1 bar of signal, dropping. He wasn't looking for anything, really. He just wanted to see it. He typed it into the search bar slowly, checking the spelling off the birthday card.
Ardvane.
A tourist page, a hill walking forum, a fishing report from 2019. He tapped the village community page, because a village community page would have photographs. Somebody had lost a cat. Ginger. Answers to Tam. The Hall Roof Fund was at £1,140 of 4,000. There was a post from March, a grainy photograph of a village hall, tables, a tea urn, teas in the hall afterwards, all welcome. He'd have hated the fuss. The road was shut at the bridge for resurfacing. There was a sunset over the loch, with 71 likes. He stopped there, on the sunset, because it was pretty, and because somewhere in that photograph, behind the trees on the left-hand side, was a white house.
Ooh, that's nice. That's really nice.
He saved the photograph. He was 406 miles away. He was going to be there by Tuesday, and he had never in his life felt anything like it.